Hi guys, happy Wednesday and welcome to the morning after. I am your host, Sharleen Joynt. All right, so as always, I'm going to start with our Maltesers hashtag light goals moment of the episode. And this is our last light goal, you guys. I'm getting a little sentimental. Okay, so to me, this was a clear winner. I was very clear on this. Hashtag light goal. And remember, light goal is a play on a hashtag life goal, meaning a more attainable, lighthearted, everyday goal. And I thought this was the clear winner. It was when Jason Mesnick said, "My advice is to get away and work on your relationship. A lot of the successful relationships, they get out of this thing and go back to their lives." And this stood out to me as fourth wall breakage and a meta commentary. He's on the show, referencing the show being this thing that you need to get out of. It was so epic. It was so good. And I think he's right. I firmly agree with him. I think that this show is not reality, and it can really skew your actual reality if you don't escape when you can. And it's addictive. It really is. That's, why a lot of people continue to go back for more. So and as someone who has tried my darndest to get back to real life, I still write about the show. I'm still involved in the show, but I've never gone back on it. And I think that it's hard. It's it's not easy. And I don't know. So my Maltesers moment is keeping your head screwed on straight and keeping sight of what serves you and what doesn't. And yeah, so yeah, that's a pretty heavy Maltesers moment. But I thought it was so well said, and it really sums up this whole season in a way. Okay, so the episode starts off with a recap of what happened Monday night, and we're shown footage of Becca, obviously done with an iPhone or something, or a night cam. She's on the plane going home. I just thought this was a little excessive. It's like they were looking for some sort of a meltdown to happen at any given moment. And she never cried or anything. We weren't shown that. But I just thought it was a little okay, we get it. Give the girl some privacy. Okay, so there's just so much to cover. I have all my notes, but it's this is a serious episode. A serious 5 hours, really. Okay, so then there's the conversation with Lauren. Ari goes to Lauren's place in, oh gosh, I forgot. There's too much to keep track of. Someone comment and remind me where where he went to visit Lauren. The first thing that stuck out to me is how unbelievably attracted to Lauren he is. The way he was looking at her when he was talking to her, or while she was talking, it's he wanted to devour her. I wrote that in my notes. He wants to devour her. I was also struck by the familiarity here. You really got the sense that they had reconnected, and we hadn't seen any of that. And I do feel a bit like social media and Instagram and his ability to DM her robbed us of a true knock at the doorbell, will you take me back situation. And I know that's unrealistic, but considering how much they felt they were documenting this whole thing, I feel like that would have fit in. I don't know, I just would have liked a little more uncertainty here. It felt like she was already, she'd already taken him back, and it was clear that they had discussed it, and it felt a little the whole thing about him being oh, I don't know if she'll take me back was just sort of fake to me. Thank you, Steph. Stephanie said Virginia Beach. Thank you. That's where he went to see Lauren. Okay, finally, it struck me as a little sick how when Lauren asked Ari if he was over Becca, he said 1000%, which isn't even a thing, by the way. And he said it without hesitation. I felt this was a little unnecessary. I think the fact that he's there speaks for itself, and neither of them need to make his relationship with Becca sound like ancient history. It's just adding insult to injury. I just felt to be oh, 1000%, I'm totally over her. It's I get that he wants to, make Lauren feel secure, but it's also we just saw that breakup. I get for them that maybe it made sense, but for us, it just really felt soon and kind of rude. Okay. God, I'm already behind. Okay. So Chris Harrison talks to the girls from Ari's season. I thought it was interesting how Becca M said that he should have ended it with Becca privately, and that, quote, she said, he had that choice. For me, this stood out to me because I would be curious to know how much of a choice he really did have and how much pressure was on him. I'm not saying that he couldn't have, put his foot down and just done it privately with her, in a moment of privacy with her. But I strongly suspect that this was a seed planted by production and that he maybe agreed to it, or maybe he was convinced to do it, or maybe it was a fleeting idea and then they really pounced on it. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I do agree. He had that choice. He certainly could have kiboshed the whole thing, but in general, I think the show conveniently removed themselves from any responsibility with that. It was a good point made from CN about how Ari did the breakup knowing Lauren was going to take him back. And this ties into what I was just saying, like, we were led to believe that he wasn't sure he was going to get her back. Like, in the drive over, he was so nervous, he was having a panic attack outside the door. It's like, oh, I want to see if the possibility is there. It's like, she knew he was coming. Like, she was always going to take him back. It just sort of painted the whole thing as a little disingenuous, and even the breakup itself felt kind of icky to me. Like, he already had Lauren waiting in the wings. In general, I was so impressed with these ladies, Becca, M, and CN in particular, but really all the women. So well-spoken and so kind, and they were just great. It was a good group of girls this season. Okay, and then, I don't know if you guys noticed this, I don't know if you saw this, but on my side, right after that segment, it cut to one of those, like, are you the perfect match for our next Bachelor or Bachelorette? If so, like, send your whatever to this, go to bachelor.abc.com or whatever it was. This cracked me up just because of how this season has gone. It's like, this is not really the time to be trying to, like, rope in future contestants. Okay, so then Chris Harrison sits down with Becca. And I think it's interesting how immediately he puts on her whether or not the show should have filmed and aired that breakup. And her answer is so careful. And she says, oh, I got closure from it. I knew that, what I signed up for. And it's almost like they were doing damage control. It's like they knew that they had gone too far with that, and therefore they got it from her that it was okay. I thought this was interesting. Also, she said, and quote, I feel now that I've seen all sides of the story and know where his heart lies, I wasn't for him. I would never want him to feel like he was in a relationship where he was trapped. If I'm not the one, I'm not the one, and it's okay. First of all, oh my God, this girl is so well raised. And so she just has such a good sense of self and self-worth to her. And then my next thought was, oh, she's next Bachelorette. Because this is a very Bachelorette answer. It's not emotionless or unaffected by everything that's happened, but it's very onwards and upwards feeling, and that was my first tip-off that she was going to be Bachelorette. Okay. Oh, so much to cover. Okay, so then Ari joins Becca on the hot seat. And right off the bat, I wish he had taken more responsibility about the phone call with Lauren. She said, why did you wait so long to tell me about that? And he was like, oh, I was trying to come to terms with my feelings. I didn't want to make a rash decision. It's like, dude, we're not idiots. Like, you were testing the waters. You wanted to see if she would take you back. It's like, the cat's out of the bag at this point. No one thinks you're a saint, so you don't have to pretend you are one at this point. He does, however, he did take responsibility for having proposed, which I thought he should have. And, so I'll give him credit where credit is due. He took responsibility for some things, but I feel like, if you were doing some shady stuff, just at this point, just be like, yeah, I was shady. You know what I mean? Like, he should have just sort of gone there. Becca was so classy. She said, I'm ready to find someone better suited for me, like I hope Lauren is for you. I mean, what a classy girl she is. Wow. She was really, I know she's had time to move on, but nonetheless, it would be so easy to wish that their relationship ends horribly, for her. But like you really don't get the sense that she was feeling like that. Okay, Becca leaves. There's a commercial break. Ari and Lauren are now on stage together. I have to admit they're very cute together, and I thought Lauren held her own very nicely. I wasn't really sure how that would go just because in high-pressure situations filmed, like not live, she has been very nervous and sort of has clammed up. I thought she really held her own. In general, there's not a ton to say here that hasn't already been said. He's not the devil. He obviously has regrets. and has expressed those regrets. And the heart wants what the heart wants. So it's like, what can we say? You know what I mean? I wish them the best, and I truly hope that they do seem happy, and I hope that they are happy. Okay, so finally, Becca is announced as Bachelorette. This is the perfect choice, obviously, and I just think she's so elegant and well-spoken, and yet she's cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to hang with her. And I think her popularity amongst the other women speaks volumes here. You know, she's clearly well-liked, and especially given, actually, she, without question, took the Bachelorette spot from at least 2 or 3 of those women. Tia, Kendall, and Sienna, I think, were probably the obvious picks, because usually they don't take the runner-up. And so it's safe to say that she took that from one of them, and the fact that she, you know, they all clearly adored her says a lot about how likable and deserving she is. Finally, Becca meets a few of her men, and when the first guy calls Ari a wanker, and I thought this was hilarious, because it's like, we're not even done Ari's season, and already the onslaught begins. You know that Becca's season is going to be full of Ari disses, and people sort of being like, oh, he made the wrong choice, he's a douchebag, and, you know, just sort of in general insulting him, and I just thought it was funny that it happened, like, mere minutes after he proposed to Lauren on his own season. Okay. That's all I have to say about that here. I cover more stuff in my Flair recap, and obviously if you read my blog, alltheprettypandas.com, I will do my finale recap later. I have a few questions from you guys. Jen B asks, you dated one Pablo, whom I know you're always positive about, but who's widely considered to be one of the biggest jerks in Bachelor Nation. Do you think Ari is a bigger jerk? Cindy here wrote, he's incredibly wishy-washy, and that does stand out to me as true. My issue with Ari is that Becca M said this well when she said that, you know, he says what he thinks will get him what he wants, or you know, what he, I think he can compartmentalize a little too easily and would say what he felt was like, would sound nice to say, or what might make him feel good to say, or what might make the woman he's talking to feel good to hear. And I disagree with her in that I don't think it is completely manipulative. I think he might just do it for ease, honestly, and he might really feel that in the moment. But that wishy-washy aspect is something that doesn't sit well with me. And I never thought Juan Pablo was an asshole. I'm gonna cop out of this question. I don't think either of them are assholes. I'm sorry. You can be wishy-washy, and be an asshole or wishy-washy and sort of like unintentional. I think he's a little old to be this wishy-washy, but I also am all too aware that we are shown such a fraction of what happens, and so I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Lola Hensley asked, do you think Lauren feels badly for what Becca went through that was never really addressed? I think that when it comes to this show, even if they were close friends, which I don't get the impression they were, you got to think a little selfishly, and I think in Lauren's case, it's sort of like, yeah, that sucks for Becca, but I really wanted the guy. Further, I think the fact that Becca was named Bachelorette sort of equalizes things. It's like, yeah, she went through that horrible, horrible televised breakup, but now she's Bachelorette, and so therefore it kind of like makes it okay. I'm not saying it does, but I think that in Lauren's mindset, you know, Becca, you know, was in some way compensated for her heartbreak. Finally, Julie M asked, did Lauren forgive Ari way too easily, or do you think that was due to how the scene was edited? This is something I've spent a lot of time thinking about, Julie. This is a very good question. I think for me, my final thought on this is, I think she had time to process this while we didn't. Like, this all happened Monday night, and it feels very soon. But, you know, it started out with an innocent Instagram DM, and she's, you know, had weeks and months to like think about this. So given that, and the fact that she does love the man, I don't think she forgave him too easily, because I don't think that she forgave him as easily as it was shown to us. So yes, I agree that there is some editing there, and also the timeline for us is so different from what it was for them. Okay, You guys, thank you for following along with me this season. This like really chaotic, dramatic, it really was one of the most dramatic, very dramatic season. And I always appreciate you guys following along with me here and at Flair and on my blog. And I want to thank you for those of you who participated in the Maltesers hashtag Rose Goals bracket. The grand prize winner will be contacted soon. So hopefully you win a trip to Toronto. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you here in May. Yes. Okay, bye.